Welcome to College Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: plagiarism is no joke, just ask Joe Biden. The right to protest is under threat in Britain, undermining a pillar of democracy. U.S. patient sues dentist over 8 crowns, 4 root canals, 20 fillings in one visit. Oxford Street recovers from candy store scourge with record property deals. 6 staff staggering into the office won't fix Britain's worker crisis. Plagiarism is no joke, just ask Joe Biden. Telegraph. Harvard University President Claudine Gay has been accused of plagiarism, with over 40 instances of unattributed borrowing being reported to the university's research integrity officer. Critics have accused Harvard of redefining plagiarism in order to downplay the significance of Gay's actions. One commentator has argued that affirmative action and diversity programs disadvantage minority members, as their achievements are devalued due to the suspicion of racial favoritism. The right to protest is under threat in Britain, undermining a pillar of democracy. Associated Press. Environmental activists in the UK are being targeted by tough new laws that restrict the right to protest. The Conservative government argues that the laws are necessary to prevent extremist activists from disrupting daily life and hurting the economy. However, critics say that civil rights are being eroded without enough scrutiny from lawmakers or protection by the courts. They argue that the widespread arrests of peaceful demonstrators, along with government officials labeling environmental activists as extremists, mark a worrying departure for a liberal democracy. The arrests have included those of a retiree holding a sign reminding jurors of their right to acquit defendants, an engineer hanging a banner off a bridge, and scores of people simply walking slowly down the street. U.S. patient sues dentist over 8 crowns, 4 root canals, 20 fillings in one visit. South China Morning Post. A patient is suing her dentist, Dr. Kevin Moldrum, for malpractice after he performed 8 dental crowns, 4 root canals, and 20 fillings in a single visit. The patient, Kathleen Wilson, claims that she received negligent treatment from Dr. Moldrum that caused significant injuries. The lawsuit also accuses Dr. Moldrum of grossly exceeding the safe dosage of anesthesia and falsifying medical records. Wilson's legal team has obtained an expert opinion from a dentist in Florida who states that so much dental work in a single visit is impossible to achieve if done properly. Wilson is seeking at least $50,000 in damages. Oxford Street recovers from candy store scourge with record property deals. Telegraph. Despite concerns over rising crime rates and complaints that the area is becoming run down, property deals on London's Oxford Street are expected to reach a new high this year. Figures reveal that 200,000 square feet of space has been taken on the shopping street since the start of the year, more than 3 times the amount let in 2022. More deals were struck to rent Oxford Street shops last year than in 2020, 2021, and 2022 combined. The total for this year could be pushed even higher, as deals covering another 110,000 square feet are currently progressing through the legal stages. 6 staff staggering into the office won't fix Britain's worker crisis. Telegraph. The UK is becoming the sick man of Europe due to health-related issues, which are dragging on growth prospects. The Office for National Statistics has revealed that a record number of Britons are neither in work nor looking for work due to long-term ailments. The economic cost of working while sick is difficult to measure, but productivity typically falls by around 40% when employees work while ill, according to consultancy firm Robertson Cooper. Working through illnesses can also increase the risk of burnout and depression. AI fears being overhyped by Silicon Valley, says former Google exec. Telegraph. Andrew Ng, a former Google executive and professor who taught Sam Altman, founder of OpenAI, has accused U.S. tech giants of exaggerating fears around artificial intelligence, AI, in order to stifle potential competition through regulation. Ng argues that AI labs are using concerns about the technology to raise funds and push for rules that would make it difficult for challengers to emerge. While acknowledging that some fears about AI are valid, Ng believes that many of them are overhyped and that the industry should not be subject to excessive regulation. He warns that such regulation would hamper competition and be detrimental to the industry. Top business stories. Yahoo! Santa Fe, the capital of New Mexico, has 44 cannabis shops operating in the city, more than double the number of Starbucks and triple the number from April 2022, when recreational cannabis became legal in the state. The future question is how many cannabis shops the city and state can support. Family businesses find sweet success in fruit and vegetable export market. ABC. Bundaberg, a regional Queensland town, has seen local businesses capitalize on its name to achieve success on the international stage. Bundaberg Brewed Drinks, a family-owned soft drink company, has recently opened a $150 million super brewery in Bundaberg that will double production and increase exports to over 60 countries. The company's success is attributed to its use of locally produced ingredients, including ginger and sugarcane, and its strong relationship with local farmers. Another local family, the Dangs, have invested in a $15 million freeze-dried fruit factory to reduce waste and tap into the lucrative fruit snack market, which is estimated to be worth $22 billion worldwide. The success of these businesses highlights the role of regional business in driving the national economy. How world's largest student group is pushing Indian politics to the far right. South China Morning Post. The Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad, ABVP, is a right-wing, nationalist Indian student organization that is becoming increasingly influential in Indian politics and academia. ABVP is the student wing of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, RSS, a far-right Hindu nationalist organization and the ideological fountainhead of the Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP. Many BJP politicians, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah, were members of ABVP in their youth. The organization claims to promote traditional Indian culture and philosophy among young people, but critics argue that it is increasingly becoming a polarizing force and that its right-wing ideology is the basis of national policy. ABVP has been accused of perpetrating numerous violent incidents, including riots and assaults, and has disrupted academic institutions. ABVP is influential on university campuses and has been a launching pad for the political careers of many BJP and RSS members. The organization is seen as a major influence in national policy making, with its goals being reflected in government objectives such as a uniform civil code and pro-Israel foreign policy stance. ABVP also has a significant impact on academia, with its members accused of forcing the resignation of university administrators and influencing national educational policies. No one dares to spend. Why China's middle class is tightening its belt. South China Morning Post. Millions of middle-class Chinese consumers are reluctant to spend their money until the economy shows signs of solid recovery. This cautious approach comes as the post-COVID economy faces deflation risks, a property market slump, and bleak business sentiment. Despite having robust savings and access to VIP services from wealth managers at banks, even relatively affluent Chinese individuals are not keen to invest or spend like before. Property sales have fallen and retail sales have only seen a marginal rebound due to low base comparisons from last year's lockdowns. Veteran musician Bernie Pitters was a star of Canada's reggae scene. The Globe and Mail. Bernie Pitters, a keyboardist and producer in the Toronto reggae scene, has died at the age of 68 as a result of complications from diabetes. Pitters was a member of the Human Rights, a roots reggae band, and toured with Toots and the Maytals. He was inducted into the Toronto Reggae Hall of Fame in 2015. The Cocos, Keeling Islands is in a rubbish dilemma, but could there be lessons for the rest of the world? ABC. The Cocos, Keeling Islands, an Australian territory located in the Indian Ocean, is grappling with a waste crisis. The islands are remote, and traditional forms of waste disposal such as landfill are not possible. The only option is to ship the waste back to mainland Australia, which is costly. The local government has increased rubbish bin collection fees for residents by 55%, whilst charging commercial and government agencies $12,400 per disposal. The Australian Defence Force is currently upgrading the island's main airstrip and may be able to help with waste disposal. The Cocos community has suggested a range of alternative measures including sea dumping, using waste in sandbags or roads, and burning rubbish in an open fire pit. The island's waste problem is exacerbated by the amount of rubbish that washes up on their beaches from the surrounding ocean. Waste management expert Jeff Don believes that the Cocos Islands are a microcosm of the global waste problem. He states that waste is a symptom of a larger problem, that products are being created with no thought for what will happen to them after their useful life has ended. Australians tipped to spend $23.9 billion as thousands flock to Boxing Day sales. ABC. Thousands of Australians flocked to shopping centres across the country to take advantage of Boxing Day sales. Many were experiencing the event for the first time and found it to be a unique Australian tradition. The Australian Retail Association predicts that Boxing Day sales will generate $23.9 billion, an increase of 1.6% from last year. Despite a 1% increase in Christmas spending from 2022, the ARA described the overall Christmas trading period as fairly subdued. The association attributed this to challenging economic conditions and the rise of online shopping. Analyst Jay Bielas believes Gonzaga's best basketball has yet to come. Yahoo! ESPN college basketball insider Jay Bilas believes that the Gonzaga men's basketball program will continue to improve despite 3 losses so far this season. He says that their defense has improved, even though their three-point shooting is worse than last year. Bilas also believes that the team's depth, especially among the guards, is a potential issue, and that it will need to be tested over the next few weeks. However, he remains confident that Gonzaga will be a second weekend team in the NCAA tournament. A look at Iowa's class of 2024 walk-ons. Yahoo! The Iowa Hawkeyes have been successful in the past in turning walk-ons into professional American football players. This season, Quinn Schultz has played as a free safety, while sophomore Drew Stevens has been the team's kicker. The Hawkeyes recently announced 8 new walk-ons to their program, including Trent Cakerice as a defensive tackle, Graham Eben as a linebacker, Kyler Girardi as a safety, Grant Glossaire as a running back, Drew Larson as a defensive back, Cole Marsh as a tight end, Devin Van Ness as a linebacker, and Trip Woody as a place kicker. And that's a wrap on today's news. We covered a range of topics, from plagiarism accusations at Harvard to the right to protest in the UK being under threat, and even a lawsuit against a dentist who allegedly performed an excessive amount of dental work in one visit. We also discussed the recovery of London's Oxford Street and the impact of sick staff on the UK's worker crisis. In addition, we explored the debate around artificial intelligence being overhyped, the rise of cannabis shops in Santa Fe, the success of family businesses in the fruit and vegetable export market, and the influence of the right-wing student organization ABVP in Indian politics. We also touched on the cautious spending habits of China's middle class and the passing of reggae musician Bernie Pitters. Finally, we delved into the waste crisis on the Cocos Islands and the excitement of Australians during the Boxing Day sales. We even had some sports news, discussing the potential of the Gonzaga men's basketball program and the new walk-ons joining the Iowa Hawkeyes. It's been an eventful news day, but remember, there's always more to the story than meets the eye. It's important to critically analyze the information presented to us and form our own opinions. So, what are your thoughts on today's news? Do you have any questions or additional insights? Let's keep the conversation going. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.